Hey y'all. Alright. Let me know if you can hear me. Um I went ahead and deleted that video so that people won't get lost and confused and they can come to the one we're actually doing. So, like I said before, we kind of created a monster. Okay, we don't have any viewers yet. But we kind of created a monster, Ebony and I did last night. Um, when we I entered. So now I'm adding Jessica. And here she comes. Hey Tam. Shanita, I think I saw you too. There she is. Hey, gorgeous.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm excited. I'm a fan, so I'm fangirling a little bit. So it's like I get to interview Jessica. Okay, okay.
I appreciate you for this right now.
I told you what the adjustment said I had to make.
Yes.
So I'm excited. You want to kick off the questions, or you want to tell them a little bit about yourself first?
I can talk about me for a few minutes while people come in.
Okay.
Um, so for those of you who will come in and are here, whatever, if you don't know me, my name is Jessica Cage, and I am a fantasy author. Obviously, this is the group that we're in. I've been published now for 10 years, originally from Chicago, but I just recently moved to Georgia,
Oh,
adjusting
what
to this
part?
lifestyle. I'm in Jonesboro, so like south
Okay.
of Atlanta. Yeah. I did not know that Georgia had vultures, so that was like, welcome to the
Yes.
neighborhood. So yeah, I'm still getting settled in my new space, and yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I guess I'll get more into it, but I publish books that feature POC and the strong character leads that we all wanted growing up. So
Awesome. Okay, so how many books have you written?
I have I don't know how many I've written, but I've published 26 so far. I'm still
Fantasy?
working on it. Yes,
Shit, I
all
gotta
paranormal.
catch up.
Yeah. There are quite a few out there. Yes. I started with vampires and now I'm in, dragon territory right now. So
Okay. Well, which one's your favorite that you published so far?
I get I get asked this question so often and it's hard. It's
Oh,
like
I know.
asking a parent, like, which is your favorite child? And I'm like, I can't choose a favorite child. It's so rude. But no, I have favorites for different reasons. So like the Siren series would be my favorite because I feel like that's when I found my voice as an author.
Hmm.
The Gen Rebellion series is my favorite because I feel like I took my writing to the next level when it comes to crafting big war and battle scenes and stuff like that. So each series or each project really kind of helped me get to another level or develop further as an author. So they all have something that I hold dear. But
Okay. So you can't choose a favorite. Now, see, if you ask me which one is my favorite child, it depends on the day. Which one I get on my nerves worse than the rest of them. So,
that also that also has some input. That's true.
right. So, do you have a favorite, like one that you haven't released that you're ready to drop and see how the world receives it?
That hasn't been released. Yes, and I can't talk about it.
Uh,
But it's taking me back to my roots of YA because my first series was YA.
okay.
Even though like 3 years after publishing it, I was told it was actually NA, and I'm like, okay. And then they pushed it back to YA, so the rules changed, but whatever. This is taking me back to that realm of a younger audience. So it's fun. It's real interesting to be back in that environment.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you have any suggestions to help people become a better writer?
Yeah, always. Okay, so one of the things I tell people is that you should always be trying to improve your craft, whether that's going to seminars or reading books or whatever it is. I try to be better with every release. Every release that I put out has to be better than the last one. I'm not like, I may not be the greatest writer out there, but I promise my readers, that my audience, that every time they come back, I'm gonna get better. So that
Okay.
means I'm always buying books that help me learn more about building worlds and crafting these characters. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to improve on what I'm doing. So it's just continue asking the hard questions and get critiques from your partners that you trust. Just always seek to improve your writing and never let anyone tell you that you can't. When I first published, if I would have listened to some critics, I would have never published anything again. Okay. And
See?
I will say that my first book, when I put it out, I did not go through the proper processes, right? So I made a lot of mistakes with it, but I made a promise to myself, like, okay, I made the mistakes, let's learn from them and let's continue pushing and growing.
Okay. Yeah. And Lauren Hill says anything that's not growing is dead. So you're
Exactly.
always supposed to be improving and growing.
Yes.
Uh, okay. This is a fun question. Okay. You hear from your readers much? And if you do, what do they say to you?
I hear from my readers a lot. Over the years, the messages have changed. Like when I first started writing, I'm the cliffhanger queen. So I used to get a lot of messages like, how could you leave us hanging like this? And I'm like, because it's fun. But in recent conversations with my readers, because I do a lot of lives on TikTok mostly, but I get a lot of complaints and grief about the Gen Rebellion series, and they love the characters, but they hate the characters, and those type of conversations are always just amazing. And I would say that the other um, comments that I love getting are the ones who say that like my work affected them in any way whatsoever. Like I wasn't reading books like that, but I read now, girl. I read audiobooks. I'm like, yes, I love it.
Tam said, we say drop another book.
Yes, I get Sam tags me a few times a year, like, come on, girl, where's the next one? And I did get messages. I announced that I wasn't publishing anything for the rest of the year because of my move and stuff. And everyone was like, what? Like, I got messages. But people are mostly supportive. Like, they're understanding that things, change.
Okay. You said TikTok. Give us a little bit of details about that. That's I'm gonna go off the questions a little bit sometimes. So
That's fine. I got on TikTok when, the Rona hit and we was all stuck in the house, and I stayed on there watching for some months, and I was like, I ain't never gonna post nothing, but then I did. And the readers over there are hungry and they found me, and it kind of went its own way. And now I have a huge community over there, and we do lives nightly at 10 Eastern. And we just talk about books, and people ask questions about writing. And like I'm launching a new YouTube channel called Books and Bonnets because that's something that's springboarding off of TikTok. On TikTok, I do tips about writing and book in the book world, but I'm always wearing a bonnet, because I'm like, I'm not getting pinged every day from TikTok, whatever. That's how it started. I'm like, I'll give y'all tips, but y'all gonna have to take them in my bonnet. And now it's become this whole thing. So I found my people on TikTok, and I typically be over there now. I don't really be on Facebook like that anymore, but I'm coming back. I'm trying to find a balance.
so,
Yeah.
girl, between them, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so much.
Okay. It says, do you like to create books for adults? You said you started with YA.
hmm
So
Yeah,
do
I
you like
started with YA. My first adult book was the Siren series. And I was like, I don't know how people are gonna take this. It's a little spicy. But most of my work are for adults. Not all of them are like, TNA adults. It's just the content and the subject matter and the characters are adults. But I do enjoy it. I'm working on one that is vampires. That's more along the lines of the Siren series with the TNA and all that spice. So I do enjoy it. It's interesting because I don't want to write under a different pen name. I kind of want to be like Stephen King. I want a book in every genre, and y'all gonna know my name, and I don't care. Like that's me.
right?
I'm not balancing 800 different names. This is me. Y'all better look at that cover, read that blurb, and be like, okay, this one not for me. Let's move on to the next section. So that's my thing. I like writing everything. Like I said, I started in YA, went into NA and then adults, and now I'm just I got projects across the board now.
Okay, but yours are all paranormal fantasy.
Yeah, so paranormal, fantasy, and dystopian. So I have some like post-apocalyptic, futuristic stuff.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Louisiana in a couple weeks. I already know what I'm gonna be doing.
Yes. Oh my God, Louisiana. Now, I've always wanted to go. Every time that I was supposed to go, they had a storm or I got sick or something. But a lot of my books go through parts of Louisiana. So like I need to go because I've been like researching through Google and like asking friends who've been
Girl,
there. I've never been.
it's a whole experience. Like you have to go.
Yes. I'm look, I'm gonna make it there one day. It's kind of like Six Flags when I was younger. Every time my family went, I got sick. I didn't make it there until I was in
Oh
high school.
no,
I didn't make it
dang.
there, and I got sick halfway through. Like I had to go sit in the car while my friends finished, having fun. I was in the car with my friends there, like, oh, I feel so bad. But I made it, and I'm gonna make it to Louisiana. I'm going to.
Well, New Orleans is my favorite city. I'm going to Shreveport this time. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
New Orleans it's just a magical city. There's
I'm about to
magic
make
in
you
it.
a part of my research team then. Like, okay, I got questions.
Yeah, I go there. I haven't gone in 2 years, so I'm so glad to just be in Louisiana at all.
Trinice
But
says Niecy P. Porter, she says she will show us around. I gotta come. I gotta be there. It just seems like
you
so
do.
much energy and just I take so like from what I see through my research and on TV and in other books, I'm falling in love with it like in a virtual sense. So now I just want to be there.
Yeah. So as a child, no, I skipped one. Okay, what do you think makes a good story? Since you were talking about research and actually
Hmm.
visiting.
Yes, a good story to me is a great character that you care about. I feel like everything else
Mm.
it helps. But if I don't care about your character, baby, I don't care about your book. I don't care about what magical systems you put in place. I don't care about, drag. I don't care about any of that. If I cannot connect with your character and their journey, then I'm put the book down. Like it doesn't, because we can create so many amazing, crazy, wonderful things in our head. But if you fill that world with flat characters, like the characters who don't experience growth, or characters who, are just so stubborn that they don't really have an effect on the world around them, or vice versa, then what's the point? And I have spent so much time reading psychology articles and books. I actually took 2 psychology classes. I was out of college. I went back just to take these 2 classes so I could learn about the inner workings of the mind, so I could write better characters. Because if your characters aren't connecting to your reader and back and forth, then I just feel like you lose your people.
Girl, that's dedication and devotion right there. Like
Yeah,
it really, really is.
because I didn't. You know what? And I found myself writing the same character again. I was like, wait, I wrote this person before. Hold up. Like, let me find somebody. I don't want to present the same person over and over to my readers.
Okay. Okay. And do you like to create books for adults or do you prefer to create books for you?
Do I prefer whatever the character tell me? If the character appears to me and they're like, yo, it's about to get spicy, I'm like, all right, girl, let's do this.
You just crack your knuckles.
Let's go. We got this. And if they say it's a clean, friendly read, then okay, we're gonna be clean and friendly. We're gonna be, trolloping through daisies. That's fine. So whatever the character tell me, that's what we're going with.
And see, that takes a lot of growth. It really does, or a lot of skill
Yeah.
because I can't even not cuss around my kids. So I can't imagine trying to write a YA book.
I grew up with the mother that used to say stuff like garbage truck or trash can or ashtray. That was my mom. So I can turn it on and off.
I grew up in a military family, so yeah.
Different. Yeah.
Yeah, cussing and busting guns. That's
Yeah.
what we did. Okay, so as a child, did you always want to be a writer, or what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was younger, I wanted to be a fashion designing lawyer,
Oh,
but I was always a writer. I was always
talk
a
about
storyteller.
dichotomy.
Yes. I was like, I'm gonna be design. And at one point, I had the mannequin and fabric, and I was actually making clothes. At one point, my mom bought all of the essentials into the house, and I was doing it, and I was, watching Claire Huxtable and making clothes at the same time, and feeling like I'm gonna take over the world. But I always wrote. Like I started telling stories when I was so young. I used to talk my grandmother's ear off. And at one point she said, here's a pen, here's a notebook, go write something and I'll read it later. So that was her way of telling me, shut up so I can enjoy my story. Shut up so I can do this. But I would write the stories down and my grandmother would actually read it. So when I was younger, I was like, one of these days, I'm going to write a story so good that my grandmother puts it on her bookshelf. Because my grandmother was the first book nerd I ever knew. She had a wall-sized, double-sided bookshelf, okay, bookcase. When I
Oh,
tell you the thing was
nice.
massive and it was full of books, and I was like, one day I'm going to write something she's going to put on that shelf. And it started there. Okay, so I've painted, I've been in all types of artistic areas, but I always came back to writing. So it's like that's home for me.
You were a writer. Tell me, what book was the first book she put on her bookshelf?
The first one I published, which was in first grade,
Hi.
yes, it got published through the Young Authors program. So you have, I don't know if they have it everywhere, but in Chicago they have the Young Authors program where you write story, you put it, you submit it, and if you win, they give you a physical copy of your book. Okay, I was like in first grade, and I wrote a story about a little girl in an apple tree, and it won, and they gave me a physical copy, and my grandmother put it on her book on her shelf. So
Did you say first grade?
yes,
So you were winning writing awards and had a published book in the first grade.
yes, I did.
I'm gonna go on to the next question because I'm feeling kind of hey, shit, I need to catch up. First grade.
Yes.
So you were made for this.
Apparently, I think so,
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, this is a good one. Share something your readers wouldn't know about you.
Something my readers wouldn't know about me. Um, I answered this question so much, I feel like I've probably told them everything. Let's see. I love brownies, but I hate chocolate cake. It's a texture thing. I'm actually allergic to chocolate, so whenever I eat chocolate, I have to have Benadryl. And my doctor tells me to stop doing that because, that's not how you're supposed to live your life. But I'm like, it's chocolate. I need it sometimes. Okay. How do I get through it? I always lived in Chicago. Well, people know that I always lived in Chicago. I've only lived one other place, which is where I'm at now. What's something people want to know? I tell people everything. Like if people ask me a question, I don't have anything. So I don't know. Who they not? If they don't know, they don't need to know. Let's put it that way.
Oh, got you. Got you. Okay, so I just have to piggyback off of your chocolate thing. I'm allergic to pecans. Okay. I got to eat them when I was pregnant with my daughters. My allergies, like that, I was allergic when I was pregnant. I was pregnant.
Wow.
So imagine giving birth and thinking, oh, I'm gonna give me some pecan spins, and then getting them spin wheels and having to gulp some Benadryl, like not put it on a spoon.
Yeah, no.
Gulp some
I know.
Benadryl.
Get the liquid and just be taking it to the head. That's me.
It's the same thing. That is so dope. Okay, so people think I'm crazy when I say I do that, but I'm glad I'm not the only one. Like, I'm gonna get
You're
some
not.
pecan spins, but I'm gonna get some Benadryl too. Girl.
These should not be on my desk, but they are. And tonight I'm gonna take my Benadryl.
And you go eat your M&Ms. I am here for it.
And my doctor could yell at me later. It's fine.
Right. So other than now, you said texture, but brownie. No, I get it. I get it.
It's a different texture. Yeah.
Brownies are firmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm like, I love cake. But you give me chocolate cake, and I'm like, oh, gross. No, get it away from me.
See? See? So if I ever come around you, I'll make sure I get you a big old chocolate cake so I ain't got to share it.
You will never have to worry about it. 'Cause that's what my son does. He gets chocolate cake, chocolate brownies, and chocolate ice cream. Or chocolate donuts, not brownies. But I won't touch any of those. I'll eat up some brownies, but the rest of that you can keep.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is gonna be fun. If you could only have one season, what would it be?
Probably fall. Not only because I was born in the fall, and I like to celebrate my birthday, but it's just something about it. I feel energized. That's when I'm like, pumped and ready to go. My creative peak is usually in the fall because in the winter I go into hibernation. So in the fall I'm usually like pumped and ready to go, and I'm shooting out stuff, and I'm outside, and I get to wear like my favorite combo, which is jeans, some booties, and a leather jacket, and I'm just living my life. But there's something about the air and nature and the trees. It's just so crisp in the fall for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love that. Like you're coming out of that heat of summer, and that winter chill is just coming in. Now, I don't know how that's going to be down here in Georgia. I've never had a
I was
fall in
just about
Georgia.
to say, you've never been down south. So let
Never.
me explain. Have you written a book about hell yet? The devil?
The devil?
Yeah. Like hell and
Have
how
I
hot it
written a
is.
book about the devil?
Yes.
I've written about hellscapes, yeah.
Okay, well, you're gonna experience it.
A hellscape. She said my birthday is October 12th.
Okay, so you're Libra.
Yes. Balance
Okay.
scales. That's me.
Yeah, I'm Scorpio.
Okay. All right.
Halloween.
I don't know a ton of Scorpios. That's interesting.
Be afraid.
The universe is like, you don't need to know them. That's fine. You're just gonna put a bubble.
No, you don't need to know Scorpios. You either love us or hate us. There's no in between. I promise.
Oh wow. Okay.
But no, it's like fall time here, and I'm in Alabama, so fall time in Georgia lasts for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
hot, and then 2 weeks of fall, and then winter, and then it's like a month of winter because we only have winter for like a month, and then it goes back again.
Okay. So you're saying enjoy it while it's here. I'll make sure I
Yeah.
enjoy it. Chicago is different.
Yeah.
You know, we have like 2 weeks of summer, and then the rest of it is cold. So
Right. No, I don't do snow. I've been to Chicago like 4 times in my life. I love y'all.
Too cold. I
Too
won't
cold.
miss the snow. I will not miss digging my car out just to go get, a cup of coffee. Like, no, I won't miss it at all. At all.
That's okay. Yeah, you saying that now. We're gonna reconvene in a year and see how you feel about it.
Like, take me back.
Ooh, describe yourself in 3 words.
Describe myself in 3 words. Passionate, curious, a recluse.
A passionate, curious recluse.
Yes, I have Google. I can get everything from my office. Leave me alone.
Nice. And that's author. Those are author adjectives.
As long as I have coffee and internet, I'm good.
Right. We do not have to have a conversation. Uh-oh, look at Nikki. Well, first, I'm trying to see because there were some statements. Cindy Bowman said that you and her daughter were born on the same day.
Oh, Libra.
I have a Libra, but she's a September Libra, so she's a different kind of Libra.
They are a different breed. That's true.
Look at Nikki talking about, as someone who moved from Chicago to Florida, you'll miss the snow. You'll miss that winter feeling. You'll wonder why, but you will. I'm telling you, Nikki, tell again. And if she's in
I
Florida,
think
it's humid
I'll
too.
miss the feeling. I won't miss the actuality of it. Like I'll miss looking out the window because my old home looked over this beautiful park and it was very picturesque. I'll miss that. I will not miss that snow. I'm sorry. I won't miss this. I'm gonna clean off my car and put a chair in my parking spot. I don't. No. Mm-mm. I don't think
Did
I'll
you
miss
say a
that.
chair in your parking spot?
It's called dibs in Chicago. If I dig out my parking spot and I'm putting this chair here, and I bet you better not be in my freaking spot when I get back. It's dibs. That's my spot. I did the work. Don't have your car in this spot when I get back.
Oh
It's
wow!
rough in them streets.
I see.
You come back and have your tires sliced if you get in somebody's spot.
Nikki said she missed the chair. That's a real thing.
It's called dibs, okay? People use chairs, tables, like whatever.
You pull
Trash
out a
can,
whole table and put it
whatever.
in the parking spot.
Yes, a folding picnic table. Boom. And most people respect it. You do got some people who try it and they learn. Somebody got their car buried last year. But I tell you, not just the snow, I don't know where they brought all the snow from. Their car was under a mountain of snow. Them people was not playing. Dig that out.
Oh, oh wow!
Dig that out. And let's see if you do it again. It's a real thing.
Now, see, that's something to learn. Because
Mm-hmm.
girl, I
Don't
just be
let
trying to get
nobody
out the
parking
cold, go get
spot.
my damn coffee and come home. I'll find a parking spot.
Yeah, no, that part I won't miss at all.
Okay. Oh, which one of your books was the most enjoyable for you to write?
Um, the most enjoyable. Oh, that's hard. Uh, Honestly, it's probably my newest release, which is Reign of the White Phoenix, just because it was completely. I crafted. This was my first time crafting an entire new world, and then like stepping outside of Earth, and the like 90% of the books happens in that world. So I think that was fun because I was able to really just detach from what people know. Because sometimes like in fantasy, if it's happening on Earth, it still has to make sense according to Earth. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
locations and stuff. And if like in the Gen Rebellion series, the Earth shifted and things changed, but it was still Earth. So I still had to apply the rules of Earth and make sure that things made sense according to Earth modern day, even though this is 300 years into the future, right? I still had to make sure that this makes sense. But with the Rise of the Elites, they're in Penumbra, which does not have anything to do with Earth, okay? And it was just fun to be able to create brand new creatures and just all sorts of new fun and crazy things and not be limited by Earth.
That would be dope. Like nothing that people know, so they have to see it. Like that sounds like, I won't say it sounds like more work because that's what we do, but
Mm-hmm.
you have that's God work is what I call it, like goddess work. Like you have to do every
Yes,
molecule, every detail, every
yes.
color.
Coming up with the trees and the animals and the like everything.
Right.
Yes, it was so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, um, Blossom said it would be fun to read about dibs in a book.
Oh, I don't know. I might have put that in the book at some point. I try to put a piece of Chicago in all of my work. So you'll see like the food or the locations or something. If the book didn't take place in Chicago, they passed through Chicago. In the Gen Rebellion series, they're actually conjuring up Italian beef sandwiches because they don't make them anymore. We don't have cows anymore. We have to magically create this sandwich. And one of the vampires like throws it away because it stinks. And he's like, "How dare you? Do you know how long it took me?" So I always try to put a piece of Chicago into my work.
Okay. And Nisa says she doesn't know if I asked, but why paranormal? Why
Um, I,
fantasy?
I started with sci-fi paranormal fantasy because my grandmother was the book lady. She was the one who got me into reading, into writing. But my mother was the first sci-fi paranormal queen. We used to do sci-fi Saturdays on Saturdays. She would bring in big, like a smorgasbord of snacks and pizza and chips, and we would just sit in front of the TV, her, my brothers, and I, watching sci-fi aliens and vampires and all this on TV. And that was like we spent our family moments in fantasy. You know what I mean? So that's when I love it. And I think that most people who read my writing say that it reads like you're watching a movie. And that's because that's where I got the love of it. So it's very, in my mind, I'm watching it. So when I'm writing it down, it's cinematic up
Right.
here. So that's the way it translates to the page.
Okay. So, what did you tell me which one of your books was your most enjoyable to write?
Yes,
Oh yeah, you did.
the newest one, yeah.
Girl, forgive me. Look, I'm trying to read the comments, and yeah, it was
Very good.
Trey said she loved that book, your last book, and
Oh,
Evie
thank
said
you.
it's the real thing.
It is.
Blossom says that she needs a catalog. She needs
Okay,
your catalog, so we're gonna make sure post that,
I
ma'am.
will post it. Yes.
And she said her mom was too scared to watch anything like that. I read
Yeah.
it. I didn't really get to watch it. We were kung fu on Saturdays. Like my dad's some 10th degree black belt. So if we
Mhm.
weren't in karate class or if we weren't at some kind of competition, we were watching kung fu where they be talking and
Yeah.
the English would not match their mouth. Yeah, that was what I grew up watching.
So no, my mom, like, okay, so my mother is also a horror buff. So she watches like all. I cut off when they hit the blood, like when they get to the horror, not like, oh, action and blood and stuff, but like the real horror, the like guts and gore. I'm out. I'm out. I'm watching the cartoons. Like that's my mom and my brother. Like I tried so many times to be like, I want to watch horror. We're gonna do this together. And then I just end up in my room, like all the lights on, watching like Looney Tunes at night, like, oh my God. So I can do like aliens and vampires and stuff, but once you start getting to the other side of it where it's like, nope, I'm sorry.
Now, see,
I
I
got
like
on room. Oh my God,
gore.
I'm talking out.
I like gore. I don't like the stuff that could actually be real. I want to see the blood and guts.
That stuff too. Like that one missed call. I'm like, do y'all know how many times I get one missed call? I'm not watching that movie. Are you crazy? Like, I will never look at my phone again. Like, what are you talking about? I refuse.
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to see now. Nicole, no, it was. I don't know why my phone is
The
acting like this.
comments are
Okay,
like startled on my side. Mm.
Trey Nicole said, "What made you choose to write about Jen? We don't get hardly any books about them."
The Jen Rebellion series actually started in my mind when I was a little girl watching Aladdin. So I've been thinking about this story or this concept when I had back when VHS, because that's how old I am. I wore that tape out several times. Okay, my mama kept buying me the Aladdin because I kept wearing it out. But I used to think like, what happens to Genie after Aladdin and all of them are gone? Like he's immortal in my mind. He's gonna be around forever. So what happens to him? I've been thinking about this since I was a little girl. Like all of them are gonna, because they're human. What happens to Genie, right? So this is my idea. It started off as just what happens to Genie. I thought it was going to be one book, but then I started researching the origins of Genie. Found out Disney stole that story like they steal all the rest. And then I started researching the origins of the Jinn, which took me to the Middle East. And then it just became this whole big thing. And now it's 6 books with 4 more planned. So it really started when I was a little girl, just wondering what happened to Genie.
Okay. Look, I'm adjusting because I'm watching this on my computer too, and all you see is my nose and my glasses, and I look like a black hair
Oh.
pop. So, see, I just picked up my phone. Okay, so which of your books are we discussing today? Because your most recent release?
Yes, it's this one. Praying in Black.
Ooh. Okay, so you wanted to hear something funny?
Mm-hmm.
My baby girl's name is Phoenix.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I named her after Phoenix and Jean Grey, though. I'm an
Okay.
X-Men fanatic.
Love it. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So, what do you hope your readers take away from that one versus your other books?
Um, Honestly, so I created this world to be shared with other authors. So it's 6 books published. Each book is written by a different author. So I wanted to use my platform as a way to introduce readers to new authors. Some of them are really small. They've only, they have a small platform. So this was an opportunity to say, hey, let's help you grow, right? So you're coming into this amazing world. I think it's amazing. And you're going to learn about all these characters, but the goal of the project was really to just introduce readers to new authors. So hopefully they come in through my book and they go to the
Go
others.
all the way through.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what other authors you're working with, or is that a secret until they're released?
No, they all released, so they're all available now.
Okay.
So the books, I can't see it there, but they're all out right now. So these are all the covers. And Delisha Jenkins, I think she's a part of this group, is one of the authors. Jennifer Lasley, Kish Knight, Michael Wilson, and then Evangeline Lacey. So the books are out now though. Mm-hmm.
Look, I don't know if you see me over here typing, but I'm going to Amazon.
Oh.
Now I know Kish. She took with me every day. But it's really dope that you did that, because a lot of people, I still do that with poetry, and very few people do that, have that platform and say, well, let me pass it on or pay it forward.
Absolutely. I mean, we all got help at one point or another, right? And then, this way is like, hey, if people love my story, so I had to make sure my story was the bomb. Because if my story was the first to release, right? So it's like if my releases and like nobody is like, you know what I mean? So it kind of, so I had to put everything into this book. Like, let's do this.
But it was the world you created. So was it hard for you did they fall right into it? How did you share your world with them?
This process, I took like a year and a half with this process. I didn't rush it, because when you're working with so many different authors on a project like that, you have to make sure that people are on the same page, right? We had meetings and group chats to talk about stuff. We flexed some of the things. I let them create their own, creatures and stuff. And we had a world document where like, this is the structure that I'm giving you, but you can come in and you can add things to this and we can have discussions. So it needs to feel like home to you guys as well, right? It's my world, but you guys have to feel comfortable writing in it. So we took about a year and a half from me inviting them into the world to us publishing it, so that we could make sure that we were all on the same page and that the stories made sense, right? So in this storyline, they're in the world of penumbra, it's a balance between light and dark. And they have their goddess who is like, I'm picking the leaders, right? So every species has a leader, and they're called the elites. And the elite is immortal as long as the goddess has chosen them to be immortal. But in the last round, some people did some dirty stuff, and the balance of the world started to shift. And if the balance shifts, then the power breaks, and then the world will be exposed to the humans of Earth, which we don't want, right?
Right.
We don't want that. We know what humans do. So usually it's only one, maybe two elites that are chosen to take place. But this time it happens that 6 are chosen all at once. And they're all underdogs. They're all unexpected. And so you have to, follow them on their journey and find out, do they become the elite? Because people can challenge them. People can try to take their place. It's a life or death fight. But if someone feels like they can do it, they'll challenge. Do they want to do it? Do they want to, run away? So you're on this journey with them, and then how will they really affect their people? We're going to introduce you to the issues of their people. So with my story, people started going to Earth and bringing technology back to the land of the Phoenixes, and it started to disconnect them from their magic. So my character has to fix that. She's responsible for saying, yo, we can't do this. You know what I mean? Like, we're dying as a people. How do we fix this? So yeah, I think that the stories are amazing, and the authors did their thing. So I'm very proud of it.
Right, and I'm seeing just the reviews from it. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, this book took off. Like, it's the first book that I've ever had that hit 100 reviews in under 2 months. So I was like, hey.
Hey, is
And they're
right.
mostly great reviews, you know what I mean? You can't please everybody, but the average is really high, so I'm loving it.
Nice. But I gotta go back to the questions. Forgive me.
No, you good.
Because I'm listening and it's like, yeah, Trey said there was a sort of caste system as well.
There was, yes. There was some inequities based on the color of their flames. So yeah, everybody's flame is either red.
Interesting.
Yes. Depending on how your flame, and no one knows what their flame is going to be. So you don't find out until you're mature what your flame is. And then everyone wants to be a blue flame, because they are like the elites. They're chosen ones, right? The red flames are typically the workers. You know, they're in the mills. They're making things work. And then there are the flameless, the ones who never get their fire. The main character of this series, however, is unique in the sense that she is the only person to ever have a white flame. So she's like, she coming out of nowhere. They're like, who the hell is this girl? And I mean, that's a big part of what she has to fix. Like, why are we dividing ourselves based on the color of our flame? You know what I mean? And we're not realizing that this is actually destroying, us as a
Us,
people. Yeah.
right, right. So that's an interesting way to put social issues that we deal with on the day to
Yeah.
day into a fantasy novel because that makes it so relatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, down here, have you ever heard of the paperback test?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's
Yes.
something, yeah, the light skin versus dark skin. And oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow. Okay, so Trey Nicole said what's happening in the world today and inspirations for the book.
No, I wouldn't say that it was an inspiration. It was for the Gem Rebellion series when I wrote it. A lot of that seeped into that series. But honestly, it just was this is like you said, it makes it relatable. It makes it something human, okay? Because we're dealing with phoenixes and dragons and other creatures that I created that you've probably
Mm-hmm.
never even heard of before. Well, you definitely didn't because I created it.
You
But
created them.
you know, so it brought that it just to add these type of conflicts in it brings it back to something that we can create. And because I do write my
Right.
characters for POC, this is something that POC deal with, whether
Do it
it's
every
in
day.
every POC structure, there's some form of this, like they're better because, or it's in every system. So I felt like adding that to it would make it more relatable to the readers or to my target audience.
Okay, and Victoria said she's about to buy the whole series. Yeah, I am too.
Thank you.
I was like, okay, so Jessica's got, of course, because you're the more well known, but even to see
Mhm.
that their books got so many reviews, because getting
Yeah.
reviews is like pulling teeth, girl.
Yes, and we released a week apart. So there's the last book will obviously have fewer because people have to work through the series.
The
So each
series,
book
right?
released on the Monday. So every Monday for 6 weeks we had a new release coming out.
Nice. Okay, what's the significance of the title? Or did you explain that
Um,
already?
so Reign of the White Phoenix, my grandmother, who of course is the reason I'm writing, she passed away last year. And
I'm
my
sorry.
grandmother, I'm healing, she loved phoenixes. She loved phoenixes, okay? Um, and that was just me bringing a piece of my grandmother into this with me.
Oh,
Because it was
wow.
hard. I'm not gonna lie. I struggled to write for probably about 6 months last year when she got really sick, and through the process of us, of her home going. I couldn't write. I couldn't look at my computer. I couldn't do anything. And it was like, girl, you got to get this story done because you can't be the one that don't get your stuff done. And I had a dream where her and my great grandmother came to me, and it felt more like a visit than a dream. And I felt their energy with me. And I woke up and I was like, I'm bringing my grandmother into this with me. I think I was trying to disconnect from that, part of myself so I could
Mhm.
focus. And I was like, I got to go the other way. I have to reconnect with her. And that's how I did it through Elster, which is the main character's name.
That's beautiful. And everybody kept talking about this cover, so I'm glad this is a question. Tell us about the process for coming up with the cover, because everybody was like, the cover's beautiful, and it is.
Yeah. And so I'm very particular about my covers. They're at a point where people know my covers without seeing my name. It was a couple people who I invited into the group, and they didn't want to use my cover designer. They didn't want to, my cover designer did all the covers. They're like, I could just make my own cover, or I can use my cover designer. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but no. I'm very particular about what I'm trying to present with the cover. You know what I mean? And I gave them, this is what you need to give you need to come up with the element. You need to come up with, your background. Like, this is what she needs from you, right? Because it needs to look amazing. And I tried, so when I first started writing and publishing, people told me I should remove the Black faces from my covers. I should take them off my covers because my books would sell well. You would make so many more sales. Like, that's not the point. That's not the point of my
Right.
work. I'm here to represent. And so many young girls are looking for this, you know what I mean? To see themselves in this moment of power and feel represented. And that's what I try to bring with my covers, okay? I'm very particular about that, you know what I'm saying? And I've been that way. And I'm like, if my journey as an author takes longer because of this, it's gonna take longer. It
Well,
is what
and
it is.
our paths are always slower anyway.
Yes.
But we are underrepresented, and we say that all the time, like we're underrepresented. But I started taking a publishing master class, and they were like, well, if you change this or if you change that, if she ain't Black, if she ain't thick, if she ain't got natural hair, she is not going on my cover.
Yes. This is exactly my point. Like, no, I'm here to represent something. There is a point behind what I'm doing. It's not just to publish books and make money. A lot of people are here just to make the money. I have a
Right.
greater purpose behind what I'm doing, and I'm not going to compromise on that.
Right. And I'm going to ask you a question about your covers, because yours, they're animated more so.
Yes.
Okay. And go ahead, because you already know the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, because like you said, you Marvel girl. So am I. I love fantasy. Storm was my
Yes.
girl back in the day. Okay, I was like, I'm gonna be Storm. Okay, I don't care what nobody tell me. I'm gonna be lightning and controlling storm and thunder. That's me.
Really?
So I chose to create my characters so that that fantasy element, you know what I mean? I wanted to bring that to it. I wanted to bring the power and to really put us out, because we get those with the other people on there. We get that for the other people. You know what I mean? I want that for my people. I want to see us, with wings and, like, I want that for my covers. That's me. That's who I am. And this is how I see this character in my mind. And I've literally fired cover designers because I can't find the Black character, or I can't do this, or I can't find the image. This girl is pieced together from 5 different people. That's how amazing my cover designer is, because she knows I am uncompromising on this. Okay, so it takes the time. I built a team that I really love working with now. So, but I wanted to bring that comic style a little bit to the cover to really make you
Right.
like, oh, I'm gonna get some action in this one.
So I'm gonna ask you this, because you talk about creating a universe and you brought the other authors in. Have you
Hmm.
seen Unbreakable, Split, and Mr. Glass?
Um, I have seen Unbreakable. Mr. Glass kind of freaked me out a little bit. It looked like a little bit too scary. So I didn't see his.
It's not. It's not. I asked because those stories are all like, they have characters and they all flow together, but they can stand alone too. And I
Yeah.
absolutely love when books can do that. Like, they can
Hmm.
stand on their own. Like, all 3 of them end up together in Glass. All 3 of them, have appearances in Split and Unbreakable, of course. But
Hmm.
is that how y'all did y'all stories with this too?
Yeah, so they all kind of spark from one central event, right? And then they just kind of go on their own. So in the intro scene that's present in each book, so you can read each book as a standalone, right? You're going to see um, your introduction to the world, and you'll see the event that sparks their journey, right? You're going to see the elites the original leads that fall. You're going to see that process take place. And then from there, you're just in each character's journey. They don't cross over much. There are some like crossover elements and locations and stuff like that, but they don't really get together at any point.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really dope. I told you I'm swooning over here.
Oh.
What is the future for your characters? Will there be a sequel? So are y'all doing spinoffs for those books?
We don't have anything planned like that yet. There's been discussion, but it's because of the world that I created, and I do have other plans for the world itself. That may be a little tricky, but I am creating another world that I'm actually gonna do like an application process because a lot of people want to be involved this time. So late in the summer, I'll put out the call for people to do submissions, and we'll be launching another world shared world event, and whatever authors we bring into the fold for that one. But for these characters, pretty much we're gonna put them on the shelf and let them do their thing for a while. We'll see.
Okay, and Trey Nicole asked, what inspired you to create the villain the way you did in your last book? She said he was a trip.
Which book? Is it this one?
Sorry, which book, which villain?
Right.
I don't know if you were on here on the beginning, but baby girl said she got 26 released.
Yeah.
And we ain't talking about how many she hasn't released. So
Look, I'm like, wait, which villain are we discussing? Oh, in this book. He was a trip. He really was. So let's see, why did I create him? Okay, so this is the thing. I don't really create these people. They just exist in my mind, right? And I just write them down pretty much. But he was a bit much, I will say. He how can I say this? So Elspeth is such the strong-willed person, right? She was determined to live her life the way she wanted to. And the villain's actions took that away from her, right? He had to be the thing that forced her to go away from what she wanted for her own path, right? Who put her in a space of like, okay, I have to help my people, or you know what I mean? They all gonna go away, and then what is all of this for if I'm the last one standing, right? So he had to, the way he worked wasn't like directly in her face, right? He sent all of these other things to kind of deter her, right? He did all these things that, I'm trying to say stuff without giving away too much of the story,
right.
but he was he had a method to his madness, right? He was a very behind the scenes, and then you kind of see him at the end and you're like, oh, you serious? Like, so I felt like Elspeth was this curious person. She wanted to see the world, and that part of her was also sparked by the fact that she didn't really know who she was up against, right? That curiosity that I need to see this through and find out who the heck is messing with me also was a driving force for her, because it's like, if you never find out who this person is, they could come back at any time and destroy everything for you, right? So there were elements that he had to possess to put Elspeth in the position to saying, I really need to freaking figure out who this guy is and take care of this. Because she was like, I didn't even want to be nobody's elite, okay? I just wanted my wings. I just want to travel the world. I've been on lockdown my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, she was not trying to hear any of that. And all of his actions behind the scenes, moving the chess pieces around, put her in places that she needed to be to actually accept who she was meant to be. And actually, if he would have just left her alone, he probably would have got what he wanted. That's the funny part,
Isn't that always the way? They think they're smart enough to manipulate instead of just sitting back and letting what's gonna happen
She
anyway.
would have been owning her own little world, and you would have had everything you wanted. She wouldn't have cared.
Short-sightedness, that's what that is.
That's what it is, yeah.
Okay, do you write and listen to music?
No, I actually listen to stand-up comedy when I write.
You got to be kidding me.
No. I cannot listen to music when I write. I can't do it. I'll be
Really?
dancing and this will be me. But I love stand-up comedy. So I have a couple of, favorites that will be on in the background just because I've listened to it so many times. I already know it's like a song to me, right? And then there's something about comedy and the structure of it that inspires my writing. You know what I mean? Like, in good comedy, you have to be able to close out one joke and easily
Oh, girl, the
transition to the
punchline and the
next.
flow has to be perfect.
Yes, you got to be clean with it. Okay. So it's something that gets my brain like, yes, let's create. And I can turn it on and turn it down in the background. And I know the jokes by heart. And I'm like, and I'm just still writing. But if I'm dancing, if I'm music, and I'm just like, this, I don't know. I can't do it. I tried. I have been able to do it to lo-fi, where it's just like tunes. But anything with words is an absolute no.
And see, I have to write to music, but I edit to classical.
Oh, okay. Because
So
you can focus then. You're not having all the Gotcha.
yeah. No, and I'm twerking while I'm typing.
Eh. I don't know. I would be
Baby,
doing way more twerking than typing, honestly. Like that would be the case for me.
Ebony says she listens to random stories on YouTube.
Oh, well, see, there you go. I like the girl who does the makeup and tells about like the murder mysteries and stuff. Whoever that girl is.
My daughter watches, Phoenix watches that. And
Yes,
she
I
showed
love
it to me. And
her.
I was like, what in the hell?
I only see her on Facebook, so every now and then I come on Facebook and I'm like, oh, there she is. And then I just scroll and be like, what the heck? And like,
No, Phoenix is subscribed to her YouTube channel. I get notifications every time that girl posts. And I was like,
that's
oh, this is a makeup
amazing.
tutorial. Wait, what is
No, she's
this?
in there like, and I'm like, I don't know how to do makeup. I can get a lip gloss, maybe a little concealer, some bags, and I ain't slept in a while. That's it. So I'm like, I'm trying to pay attention to her makeup, but I'm like, wait a minute, they did what? Like,
Yay.
and by the end, she looked completely different. I ain't even paying no attention to what she did to her face. But them stories be getting me. They be getting me, for real.
And I set him on fire and kicked him over the ledge. And it's like, wait,
Right.
why are you contouring your face?
The woman who
What?
kept like adopting babies and like killing them, and then she killed the husband. And I was like, what? And these are real stories. Like this happened in real life. But oh no, I'm sorry. People
And I know
crazy.
this probably makes me sound like a terrible mom because my 9-year-old is the one I'm talking about, is listening to this stuff. And I'm
No, no, no.
like,
Because my now 10-year-old does the same thing. That Five Nights at Freddy. That stuff is
what's that?
concerning, and he be in there jamming to it. It's like this scary teddy bear game. I don't know, girl. There's no way in HE double hockey sticks, as my grandmother would say, that I would ever have touched that game. Okay, but he be watching them on Facebook. I mean on YouTube, and I mean, what is this? Like it's terrifying to me. I'm like, okay, if you enjoy it, I guess.
Does he play Among Us?
Yeah, he did. Not anymore. He did when it was popular, but him and his friends fell off. They back to Fortnite now.
We don't do Fortnite here. We do Minecraft and Among Us.
Yeah, he's Minecraft, Roblox, and Fortnite. That's him. And I'm kind of pulling him away from Roblox because it's not as regulated as it should be. It'd be some crazy stuff happening in Roblox. So.
Yeah, I moderate everything too.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell me how you, because this is something I want to know. As a mom, running the household, whole family, how do you get your books done?
So I started this balancing act, right? This is my thing. Writing is my life. I didn't want to separate it from my life, right? I think a lot of people think that you have to have this thing you're balancing and this and that and the other. From when my son was very little, I made it clear to him that this is our life, right? Mom has to write. This is what she needs for herself, for her passion to feel fulfilled. And I made him a part of that, right? So I would say, if mom writes, 1,000 words, we get to do something you want to do. You get to choose it. If that's 10 minutes of your TV show, or we're going to have a snack together, whatever, that, we can do that. So now my son is cheering me on. He's like, get it, mom, you got it, because we're going to get popsicles in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So he, from a very young age, he understood that this is a space that I need. But I also make it very clear to him that if you need me, regardless of what I'm doing, you come to me and you say you need me, and everything else goes to the side. Because this is life. It has to flow. It can't be, wait, I'm over here now. You got to wait. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, nope, now I'm over here. Like, that doesn't work for my brain, okay? So it's all blended. This is our life. This is our process. So he pointed out like, Mom, you're almost at 90,000 people on TikTok. That's so exciting. Ah. And I'm like, oh, cool. You know what I mean? He's more excited about those little milestones than I am at this point. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
he feels like this is us. He's taking part in helping me. There's a scene in the Gym Rebellion. It's a battle scene in the last book. I let my son read it. He critiqued it. Okay. He was like, well, because I'm like, you play video games. You be watching these books and stories and stuff, manga and anime. Read this and tell me what you think. And he was like, well, I feel like this could be a little stronger. This should probably take longer. And I'm like, perfect. You know, it's us now. This is our thing, you know. And I think that when you find a way to incorporate it all, so you don't feel like you're doing the juggling act, then for me at least, everything flows easier.
That does make sense. It's a struggle. It's a struggle I have because it's like she don't need shit until I start working. I don't know
Yeah.
what that's about.
That's my
She'll be
son don't need
studying
nothing
me.
until I get on the phone. The second I do this, ma, I need you. Come here, please. But if I'm in my office, like he was out there talking, he's like, oh, she in her office. He came and closed the door. It was like, you know, because he knows that this is my space. This is what I need to do for me. It's not just, oh, this is how I make money. Like, this is my passion. This is what fulfills me. It's what I need for me to be happy. He gets that. And I'm like, whatever you need for you to be happy, we're going to.
Uh-oh. Where'd she go? Jessica, we waiting. Let me know when you're back. Okay. Let me do the ad thing. There you go. What'd you do?
This is a funny thing. I was just about to say, I put timers on my apps so that I don't spend too much time on these apps. That timer kicked me off, like, you don't be on Facebook this long, get off. So I put the wellness timers on my app so that I'm not looking at my phone too much when I'm in the office. It was just like,
That
what are you
makes
doing?
sense.
Yes, it will shut me all the way down. It just did that. I'm like, wait, I need a little bit more time. Come back. Give me some more time, please.
But you've given a lot of really good tips just from authors, like from my perspective, thinking about it. Because my daughter cheers me on the same way. Like she fusses her and my fiance. I'll call a fiance one day and wife the next. But
Mm,
they're like, you need to be writing. And, I work, I edit, I ghostwrite, I do all of those things. And they both
mm,
fuss at me at the end of the night. But now you're too tired to write for yourself.
yeah, yeah.
So it's great to have, your children, your family support you like that.
Yeah, and I had to get rid of the people in my life that didn't support me, honestly. And it's funny now because 10 years later, they're like, I always knew you was gonna make it. You a lie.
Girl,
You a
speak my
whole
life.
lie.
My voice just cracked.
I have so many people in my inbox like, girl, you remember me back when? No, I don't. Who are you?
Mm-mm.
So y'all poo-pooed on me. Like for a long time, me and my brother, like we felt ostracized from our family because of the choices we made to be more creative and not just get in the work pipeline and to go to therapy and stuff like that, right? So we were pushed out of
Did
the
you say go to
family.
therapy? I'm sorry.
Like for real, like we like, okay, let's deal with this generational trauma. Let's figure ourselves out so we can be better, right? We did that stuff, and because we did that stuff, we were like, oh, they're the rebels. They're being, they're gonna be problematic. And we were kind of like inched out of the family. So now that we're both successful, he's an artist, he does, painting, he does a lot of my graphics for me. Here they all are, like, hey, we always knew y'all was gonna make it,
Isn't
y'all
that terrible?
it's horrible. Yeah. It's just, but I had to protect my space. And that came along with both the people in my family and the people in the indie community. When I started, it was a lot of people doing more complaining about, oh, this isn't working, books aren't selling, than actually trying to figure out how to make it work. And
Right.
I had to distance myself from, because I was like, I'm the positive one, I'm going to change them. No, it went the other way around. I started finding myself doing more complaining than finding solutions. I started finding myself feeling depressed and I don't want to do it. I don't want to write because it's not, what's the purpose? What's the point? And I'm like, who's talking now? Because this is not who your grandmother, who your mother raised you to be. Who's doing this? And I realized it's not me, it was them. And I just was like, you know what, y'all, I love y'all, but please go away for a little bit, you know? And I think that's important. You have to surround yourself with people who not only believe in your work and what you're doing, but they believe in themselves. And when they come up against a barrier, they're going to find a solution. They're not going to just sit back and complain about it.
And they have their own things going on. Like, that's a great motivation. Like,
yes, absolutely. Hey, Chris.
So I'm trying to see how many. We're out of questions, darling. So tell us what's next. Yeah.
Them. They was right here. We are. Yay, we did it.
Yes.
Again, I appreciate you for the, your own modification to your night.
Let me tell y'all. Look, Ebony said, Jessica wants to do like last night. I was like, let me go put on a bra and wrap my hair. Gotta be sitting on my back porch looking like who done it and why, and don't care who see me. Bra, why? My hair be all over my head.
Oh my.
So I got cute just for you.
I love it. Thank you.
And I enjoyed it. I really, really did.
Yeah, this was fun.
It was. So tell them where to find you. We know TikTok, and yeah.
Yeah, you can find me on all platforms at Caged Author, or you can go to my website, which is www.jessicacaged.com. And my name is Jessica Cage. There is no really relation to Jessica Jones or Luke Cage, even though I will say I got my Google search back. Boom. Because for a minute there, every time you put in Jessica Cage in Google, it was like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. I'm like, who are these heifers? Get off my page. But I got it back.
Hard work.
Yes.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you.
Thank you again for doing this. It's fun.
Yes. Well, y'all go make your purchase if you haven't, because I know I'm fin to. And I think this will be, knowing that you write YA books, like Phoenix is going to have all of your books because she does manga, and she's so
okay,
she loves fantasy.
Safe for little ones though, but if they're not all safe for, like the Siren series, the Alpha is like, but the High Arc Vampire, those are my YA, and I will be publishing more next year.
Okay, I was gonna say, look who her mama is.
What?
But being real, like she's only read one series of mine, because the rest of them I was like,
No. Yeah. So my son, he's 10. He's read the he's read the first Gen Rebellion book, and he's read pieces of the others. So that one is clean. It doesn't have like the TNA in there, right? No spice. It's, there's like a couple kissing scenes or something, but I don't mind him reading about somebody kissing. Like, he's 10.
right, he's 10.
Yeah, but I always warn people like to stay away from the sirens, and anyone that got a wolf on it, just stay away. Not for the babies.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let her go through and see which one she wants. She's gonna be so excited. Can I say I know her? Like, will I be able to tell her like I know her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you put a bra on for me, so we're besties now. So.
we're on that level now. And I'm hoping that nobody else asks today, because it's coming off as soon as I hit this finish button.
Again, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I don't think we have any more questions. No.
I don't think so. Okay, that's fine. Okay. I'll be in the comment section. If anyone wants to drop a comment, I'll pay attention to the comments.
Until her phone cuts her off again for being on Facebook for too long, so she can go right. So you disappear.
Right. Someone's been ringing my doorbell for like 2 minutes now, so I'm gonna go.
Girl. Okay, go adult. Later, darling. Bye.